Good morning, traders. So we're looking at the Dow Jones this morning. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. You'll get the daily review pretty much every morning of some trade setups for the day. And secondly, if you're looking for me to look at some other instruments, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to fulfill the masses. So obviously going to look at stuff which everybody's looking at. Okay, so anyway, let's get on with the Dow Jones. Now, what we're looking at the moment is we have had a break of a trend line. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Oh, wrong trend line, sorry. That one's still very much inactive. So we have a break of a trend line, which is basically there. So I've got a swing low, and then two swing lows on this bar. We then broke through. Last month we came back to test the break. We are still running along this trend line. Now I wish I could show this to you on the lower time frames, but this charting software is not the brightest. Okay, so you can see there's a trend line there, but it's actually running along the top. So the easiest way to do this is to put this in along here, and that is my monthly trend line, if that makes sense. Okay, so you'll see now they pretty much line up fairly well. Okay, so that is the situation we've got at the moment. So if we look at the daily, we are pretty much running along the testing the break of that trend line. We have been testing it for quite a few times. That's an attempt, and you know, some people would argue that we're above the trend. I don't believe that. I believe we're running with the trend still. Being off the monthly time frame, it's kind of difficult to ascertain exactly where the trend is, because the range will be pretty high. So there'll be a zone where the sellers are stepping in off. Okay, so that is the first warning bell that I have. With oscillator is grouped to the upside, which is another warning bell. So this is telling me we're tired. We've been tired for some time, and this just shows you that it can be tired for quite a long time. But for me at this stage, yeah, the daily is up. The weekly is in no man's land at the moment. It is a retest of a trend line. And look at the weekly oscillator here. This is not a pretty signal here. Okay. And this is looking like a V reversal, and V reversals are rare. Okay. Then the next thing to worry about is the fact that we are right on this trend line. So this was the downward trend line. We've got this upward trend line here. So if I just put a level straight in the middle of those two areas there, 25 to 20, 25 200 is the area that we need to watch. Okay, let's get down to 4 hour. So we are right on this area. This is not an area I want to be going long at the moment. Okay, just going to put another level in here, and that is my flag at this stage. And it's a rising flag, a rising channel. So we could still rise in this channel for quite some time. And I suspect we're going to hover here. Okay, if not, finally, yeah, sort of reverse off this level. So we've had a rally up, we consolidated, and now we've had this sort of exhaustion and then a bit of a pin bar, which is a wise man number one. Okay, so let's just get to, sorry, 1 hour. I just want to look for something that we can trade. So in other words, I'm a bit reluctant to be long at this area. So there's no reason to be short. Let's just get that clear at the moment. So we are still channeling up. But what you've got to take cognizance of is the fact that we are at two trend lines. Okay, we had at two monthly trend lines in actual fact. So that's what you need to worry about. And to me, that means that we have potential for the sellers to step in and drive us down. Yes, this was a strong move yesterday. Okay, so normally you would be expected to get a second move, and that is also possible. So we could drive through this level, But then what you're supposed to be looking for is a decent break up and then a pullback, and that would give the confirmation on the higher time frames, being the weekly and monthly, that the trend has changed. For now, the trend is down on the weekly and monthly, and we are right in that zone right now. So for me, it is proceed with extreme caution here. So if you're going to chase longs at this level, do so very carefully. Make sure that your stops are in, make sure your stops are tight, and preserve capital at all costs. Okay. I think for me, the thing that I'd like to see is sort of a retest of this break. In other words, I'd like to see price move back down to the downside here. There is the outside chance that it can move all the way down to the bottom here, and then have another attempt at this area, 2.5, 220. Okay, so that's kind of what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for another attempt. This is a bit of a worry to me because this looks like an exhaustion bar here. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. I really would suggest that you want to trade with the trend. The trend on the lower time frames is still up, so that's what you want to do. Looking at the 4 hour, you can see the trend is definitely up, but this could be sort of we spiked up here, and then you've got a channel, and this could just channel, meander, and then break to the downside. Okay, so in other words, what I'm saying is I'm pretty reluctant to be going long at this area here. This is the diagonal trend line. I would expect something to happen here, and it's to me, it's if you want to go long with the trend, you need to wait for a decent pullback and then go long. So I would look at these areas at 2.5, let's say 2.5180 for a long entry, and the second long entry that I'd look at would be 2.5090. Okay, that would be the next area to look for a long. But don't expect us to smash through sort of 2.5, 220, 2.5, 240. Let's call it 2.5, 250. So don't expect us to smash through 2.5, 250 without any resistance. There's going to have to be something really, really key on the news that's going to actually drive this. Okay, so if something comes out of the US today that's really positive on the news front, then you may break through that level without too much hassle. But for now, I'm really concerned about chasing longs up there. I'd prefer to be long further down. Okay, so no reason for shorts and no real reasons to chase a long. So in other words, sit on your hands until something happens. Okay, so I know that doesn't help us today, but just pay attention to these levels. We could get the second move. It is possible. But these long-term downward trend lines do concern me. And this one that is here, we've got, so we do have that as a trend line, and then we've got that as a trend line. Okay, so we're on this one. This one was the first two bars, that one and that bar, then that bar lined up, that bar almost lined up. So yeah, it is still possible that we get through this trend line to the next one and then break down. There's no real level to the inside apart from that inside tail there. Okay, so that is still possible. So we could rally all the way up there and then sell off. That is still possible. So all I'm saying is be very, very cautious about what's going on. And that level is fairly high up. So look for your longs around here, 25, 180, somewhere around there. If we can get positive price action off that, I'd take the long, move my stop to entry as quick as possible, and then possibly anticipate a move to 400. Okay. And then that's the next area that I'll be watching. But be careful of this area that we are in right now. Okay. So anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Still looking for longs. The trend is up. Just being very cautious about it at the moment. And my stop level for this entry would be just below 25,149. So let's just say somewhere around there. So that would give me 25,140. Just round it off. 25,140 with an entry of 25,180. So it's a 40-point stop loss. Okay. So that's kind of how tight I want to keep my stop losses. And the other thing before we close off is let's just do that. So that wouldn't line up, and that wouldn't line up. Okay, so guys, just whatever you do, don't put a trade in blindly here. Just wait for price action to indicate. So put some alerts in so you can have a look at the chart when price gets into the zone, and then watch price action, because it is possible that it breaks through this level and extends down to this level down here. Okay, that's also a possibility. Although I really would expect this area to be hold up somewhat. Okay, there we go. That's it for me today. Hope it helps, and I will catch you later. Cheers for now.